Greetings from the United States. Hi, my name is Terry Tolbert, and we appreciate you coming to the training today. Before we get started, I just wanted to share my story and how God led me to write this curriculum and start this training. You see, I was a pastor for over 21 years, and just like you, perhaps got discouraged and frustrated. And really what started happening was I noticed that we weren't fulfilling the Great Commission. I mean, Jesus said in Matthew 28 to go and make disciples. You know, Jesus didn't say go make converts or go make church members. He said go make disciples. And what I started seeing in my own life and in the churches that I was working in is that, you know, maybe we were bringing some people in the church and maybe we were bringing some money in and growing a little bit. Maybe we had a few people be baptized and be saved. But were we really making disciples? And were we sending people? Were people getting called to go into ministry, to be a pastor? And I just got tired that after 21 years, the answer was no. And I realized that our model is broken. That when we look at the Acts 2 model of the early church, we see a church that was vibrant. We see a church that the scripture says was in awe, and that they were sharing whatever they had in common, that they were bringing people to the Lord every day, that they had fellowship with each other. And somewhere over time, we've moved in from that organic model into this big organization, where now we look at churches that are successful, that are huge, and the big mega model is what people are looking for. And what I realized is that that's not what Jesus said. I mean, God could have done anything in the world that he wanted to do to come to redeem mankind. I mean, God could have dropped Bibles from the sky. He could have written his words in the clouds. He could have sent even Jesus to come and go to all the different places around the world in the temples and have this huge service and just preach to thousands and to millions of people. But that's not what God did. You see, what God did was he sent Jesus to invest himself into 12 men. And that was his plan. And that was God's plan A, and there was no plan B. And you see, somewhere over time, we've decided to do something different. And if we think about it, you and I are believers, and you and I are in this room somewhere traced back to one of those 12 men. You see, over time, they began to multiply. They began to disciple another person and another person who discipled someone else. And you see, we want to make a discipleship plan and a process where disciples make disciples that make disciples. And so I hope you'll pay attention in the process of this course, because what we're talking about today is not just theory. It's not just the idea of discipleship, but it's really a plan and a process of how do you do it? How do you begin to develop disciples? How do you develop small groups? And then more importantly, then how do you begin to multiply leaders who will then multiply small groups, who will then multiply more leaders that can then move into multiplying churches and being able to take over a village and eventually a city and a whole country. You see, that was Jesus's plan. And I think if you look at your own country, you'll see that church is dwindling, especially younger people. They're looking for something that's more relational. They're looking for something that has more substance. And the old model of doing things, to keep repeating the same pattern over and over again, is not going to work. And so this is a course that's been developed over 21 years of frustration, over pain, over banging my head against the wall for many, many years. And I hope that this will be beneficial for you. I hope this will be a blessing to you. And thank you for being here. God bless you. And I pray that this will touch your lives and that this will cause you to move from being just a worship experience to being a discipleship and a life change experience. God bless.